Happy Sunday, JMMB Elevate family. What's going on? What's going on? Happy to virtually see y'all. Because I'm not seeing anybody on the other side of this camera, obviously, but I'm seeing the numbers climbing. We are at over 230 participants and climbing, so we know people are logging on and joining in to what is going to be the first of two exciting discussions this Sunday afternoon, and we're ready again, man. Let me tell you, this Elevate thing has been one fantastic session after the other this weekend, and we're now here at day 3, the final day of JMMB Elevate 4.0 2022, and we're very, very happy that you've chosen to join us. No, it's Sunday afternoon right now. If you're joining us live, if you're joining us on the replay, it's whenever. But if you're joining us live, we are here on a Sunday afternoon, just ready to get into some great discussion. I'm Carrie Ann Stimson, Group Chief Marketing Officer, JMMB, and we are happy to have you for this segment. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of this segment and the segment to come after this, but let me just deal with some housekeeping matters. You know the deal, right? You have to pay the bills. First of all, we want to start out by thanking our sponsors, right? Because without our sponsors, we could not have Elevate 4.0, and our sponsors have been doing a wonderful job of providing us with some awesome gifts, prizes, and surprises. Yes, there they are. We have to big up Express Fitness, Domino's Pizza, Roast by Brescia, Live Simple, Water, and Cran Water. We just have to big them up. Thank you, sponsors. And for those of you who have been already enjoying the fabulous gifts, we see pizzas being tweeted and all these things. It's wonderful. And so we thank our sponsors very much. We couldn't do it without you. Of course, we also continue to let you know that there's still opportunities to win on social media. Now, first of all, if you're not following JMMB on social media, JMMB, if you're on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, whichever one, we're there. So if it's Twitter, it's JMMB Group JA. On Facebook, it's JMMB Group Jamaica. And on Instagram, it's JMMB Group. Now, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, then please just go to JMMB Group Jamaica or JMMB Group's pages on Facebook and Instagram respectively, and go and look at our posts there, and it has all the instructions of what you need to do and what you need to be posting and how you need to post it to get a chance to win. So all the instructions are over there. As it pertains to Twitter now, my Twitter people, my tweeps, it's quite simple. Here how you're going to do it. We're going to be continuing to drop some more nuggets today. So again, if you would have joined us for the last 2 days, there was plenty nuggets. There's more to come. We need you to be tweeting those nuggets, right? Tweet the nuggets. Tell the world all of the fantastic kernels of wisdom that you've been getting from the session. Tweet it. When you tweet it, you need to tag JMMB Group JA. And include the hashtag JMMB, hashtag JMMB Elevate, hashtag JMMB Goal Getter. And of course, the people who have the tweets that get the most retweets, you're going to be entered for a chance to win. So call your friend and family and followers and tell them to keep retweeting to give you an increased chance to win on Twitter. So those are the ways that you can win on social media. We've already been giving out prizes. This is the last day. Don't get left out. And please join in the fun there on social media. All right. Now, a couple of people have been asking, just to reconfirm, all of our sessions are being recorded. Yay! Because guess what? We didn't have room to hold everybody. I mean, I get in private DMs in my Instagram. I thought it was man trying to check me. I had to call my husband. But no, it was people who actually wanted to register for Elevate at this stage. And registration is closed. But don't worry. It's being recorded. All the sessions are being recorded, and in the coming weeks, we're going to be releasing them. So again, if you're not following JMMB on social media, you're not going to know when they're going to be released. So please keep posted, stay tuned. Tell family, friends, and colleagues who would have missed Elevate Live, they can catch us on the replay when those videos are posted. Finally, another important homework item. Today is day 3. It's the last day of Elevate. And as I would have shared yesterday, we're going to be emailing out all of the people who registered. We're going to be emailing you a survey, right? And yeah, don't. It's very important because, guys, we do Elevate because of you. If you look at the difference between how Elevate has evolved over the years it's because of you guys. It's your feedback telling us what you want that has helped to inform what we focus on, what's working, what didn't work. And so that's why the survey is there. And of course, if you complete the survey, that's another chance to win. Haha. So there's plenty involved for you. So please, no, seriously though, please complete the survey. Look out for it. It's going to be sent out right at the end of today's final session. All right. Woo! Okay, I think I've done the homework items. I don't need to set up my resume when this is all over. The job is secure. We're good to go and we can start. So I'm going to be moderating the first session for today. That's why I have a different background behind me. Normally I'm on a white background. But I'm going to be moderating this particular session. And this is a very popular topic that, again, we got the feedback folks want to hear about. And we're going to be talking about investing in cryptocurrency, something that's still kind of over my head, I feel like, and international stocks. And I get a sense why people are very curious about what cryptocurrency is, because they're like, okay, it's a very big word and I don't really know cryptic, don't know. But we're going to break it down. We're going to break it down. And then we're going to also talk about investing in international stocks on the international market. And why that's important is that I know a lot of us as Jamaicans really like hard currency investments. You know, let's just keep it real. You know, they think it's an important part to have as your portfolio. You know, you have a little devaluation thing going on. I want to hedge against that. So yeah, we're here to just drop it, keep it all the way real, break it all the way down. And I have 3 fantastic panelists. They're telling me to shut up and continue. 3 fantastic panelists here with me this evening. So I'm going to start off with the lady first, who done me looking so fabulous. Me says, where you go with that? And I'm in my polo shirt. She's just looking so fabulous. But is my sister, former member of the JMMB team, yes, but still a member of the JMMB family. Always. She is Keisha Bailey, looking fantastic. Yes, see Keisha! Keisha Bailey, looking fabulous. Keisha is an investment strategist and CEO of Profit Jumpstarter. And of course, if you've been watching JMMB stuff and you've been watching like Kalila's programs, Keisha is no stranger. So of course, we had to have her here to share her expertise with us. So that's the lady. Yes, give her your applause. And then of course, we have to have some men in the house. Now we have 2 men joining us virtually, meaning they're not physically in Jamaica. So they're joining us live via Zoom, and we're very happy to have them as well. I think both of them are spoken for. So ladies, please stay out of the DMs and the chat. Just kidding. But yeah, no, seriously, it's not that type of conversation, but I'm going to introduce. So let me introduce, first of all, I have this big screen in front of me, so I'm looking up at them right now. Let's start off with our internal guest. So we have the famous Michael Jordan, it's the Michael Jordan, but the Bajan Michael Jordan, the Barbadian Michael Jordan, same spelling, everything. Michael is part of our trading and brokerage team in JMMB Investments Trinidad and Tobago, right? But we're working remotely, so a little Barbados in there, little Trinidad. Michael is all about the place, but the thing is he knows his stuff about investing in international stocks. So no big deal. Wherever he is, we're going to get the nuggets. And then last, but by no means least, is our real international guest, because he's not part of the JMMB family, but he is based overseas or in the United States. We're going to meet him. We're going to talk to him a little bit more about that. Ross Mack. Now, Ross Mack, I'd like to say Ross, it's his first Jamaican conference that he'll be speaking at, right? We were Googling people, who do we find that really knows their stuff and is putting out great content, educational content. And Ross's name came up in like some top 15 list that I saw on our website, and we scoped him out. Handsome black gentleman. And so we're like, hey, he's the one. Ha! But yes, Ross Mack, he's hip-hop artist and also an investor and really knows his stuff. And we're going to get to know him in a little bit. But here they are, the Fantastic 3. Welcome, folks. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, look forward to the conversation. Thanks.
All right. Okay, great. Well, let us jump right into the discussion. I have some papers in front of me here, you see, people. I have about so much papers in here, you see. Don't get upset with me with the trees, but it's all for a purpose. All right. So we're going to start level setting, right? So we spoke about cryptocurrency and the whole matter of what, people being curious. A lot has been going around. I'm going to start off with Keisha. Could you just level set for us and define what are cryptocurrencies exactly so that people kind of understand what it is, just to set us off?
Yeah, all right. So we all know our paper money or coins. We're used to that. We use it to buy and sell goods and services. Well, cryptocurrency, as I believe, is the future of money. And cryptocurrencies allow for digital transactions, peer to peer. There's no bank or financial intermediary in the middle of that. And so that's really what cryptocurrencies embody. They allow us to do transactions faster. They allow us to do transactions without that middleman, that financial intermediary. And they allow us to do transactions virtually, digitally, without transferring paper money across to each other. I like to think of it as the future form of exchange, the future way that we will pay for goods and services.
All right. And it's important to point that out when you talk about a way to pay for goods and services because, well, certainly for those of us based in Jamaica, it's not legal tender here in Jamaica for sure. But so in terms of how Jamaicans would look at it, how do they use it? Because they're not using it to purchase goods and services here in Jamaica, but how would a Jamaican think of using cryptocurrency or investing in it if it's different?
So, interestingly, the BOJ has recently piloted the digital currency, not to be confused with cryptocurrency. So, the digital currency piloted by the BOJ will be replacing over time the Jamaican dollar. And so it will still go through financial intermediaries. We still will have transactions in a digital format, but we're still going through the Bank of Jamaica or other financial intermediaries. Cryptocurrencies, no financial intermediary, and you're doing transactions without that middleman in between it. For us in Jamaica right now, if we're gonna be doing transactions with cryptocurrency, we'd need a crypto account. And we'd be able then to buy cryptocurrency and use that to pay for goods and services with vendors that allow payment in cryptocurrency. So the vendor you want to buy from has to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. And then the cryptocurrency that you own, you would need to then use that to pay for goods and services.
All right. Thank you for that. And Ross, obviously you're not based in Jamaica, but if you could give us a sense, because where are you located right now, Ross? Where are you based?
I'm based in Chicago, Illinois.
All right. So you're feeling kind of chilly right about now. You'd love to be physically here in Jamaica.
Yes,
joining us.
Actual snow on the ground. It's actual snow on the ground here.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, we're sending some warm sunshine your way. Could you give us a sense, Ross, what's the big excitement about cryptocurrency? I mean, why are people so excited about it? What really makes it so sexy, I guess?
Well, I would say the excitement about crypto is one, right? It's a new payment method, right? It's a new store of value. It's a lot of excitement because if you get in early, you have the ability to really make a lot of money, right? When you're looking at it as one, it's a medium of exchange. So yes, you can buy goods in certain places that allow it. But two, it's also proven over the past 10 years to be a great investment, for a long-term investor, right? And I think the true excitement is, you're able to put $1,000 in and, in a year or two, look up and that, 20x, 50x, 100x. And I think the true excitement is like, having everyday people being, and I'm sure you guys have heard of the Doge coins or the Shiba coins, right? It's one of those things where if you get to the right coin, right, at the right time, you really have the ability to change your entire family trajectory from a wealth accumulation standpoint. And I think that, the other excitement is just where we will be in the future. And I think you started with a great point, right? One of the questions is in Jamaica, it's not a legal tender currently. In America, it's not a legal tender currently. However, I do believe that it is the currency of the future, right? If you look at, so to take a step back, right, there are over 4,000 different forms of cryptocurrencies, where two of the most common is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right. And a lot of people look at Bitcoin as one being just digital gold. Right. Back in the day, one of the safe investments a lot of people would put their money in outside of, bonds. Right. If the stock market could have been seen slightly risky, one of the asset classes that they would hold is just actual physical gold. And now, if you look over the past 10 years, the best investment from a return standpoint has actually been Bitcoin, right? Over 10 years ago, Bitcoin was less than $4. Today, it's a little volatile, but it's, in the 35 to 40,000 range currently. So the excitement is over time, one, finding a way to outpace inflation. So being able to put your money in an asset class that over time has appreciating, whereas, being a person in America, the dollar depreciates over time, just looking at, the rate of inflation here, especially it's the highest it's been in 40 years. So excitement, in conclusion, being able to make a lot of money, being able to, put $100 and make thousands of dollars if you're in the right coin.
All right. Thank you for that additional point. Keisha, because you mentioned earlier, as a Jamaican, you said you need to get a crypto account. Where do I get that? How does a Jamaican get access cryptocurrency to invest in?
So opening your crypto account, it would need to be either, you can go coinbase.com. There are many platforms, right? So, and the one you choose will be whatever is right for you. You do your own research, do what is right for you. And so you can go Coinbase, that's a very popular one. Interactive Brokers as well allows you to trade cryptocurrencies from more of an investment perspective, whereas Coinbase, you are actually owning the cryptocurrency. You can store it there electronically with them, or you can store it in what's called a hard wallet. And that's a whole other story, but you could store it then physically in the form of a hard wallet and have that.
And it's important just to raise a point, guys, that of course we're not giving financial advice from this platform because of course everybody's situation is different, their risk appetite, their timeline to invest and so on is different. This is really for informational and educational purposes. And while JMMB does not offer this service at the moment, and I don't believe any financial institution locally does.
No.
Right, as far as we're aware. But at the end of the day, we're still giving the information because we're here to serve you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, Ross, could you share with us, are you in a position to share with us your own personal experience in the cryptocurrency market? I mean, how did you get started and what has that journey been like for you?
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Nope.
I think that is, I'm more than happy sharing my experience, right? And I will say this, I think with all forms of investment, hindsight is always 2020, right? And so when you look at a certain stock, oh man, I wish I would have bought more of this stock, right? Oh man, I wish, 10 years ago I would have bought, $1,000 worth of Amazon or $1,000 worth of Apple stock, right? And I think the same thing happens with cryptocurrency. Because what you look is you say, you know what, you have to look and say, I want to continue to be long-sighted, right? I have to be able to block out all of the noise. And so when I first bought my crypto a little over 5 years ago, one of the things was it was something that it was a lot of noise about it. You had a lot of US American banks talking down on it, right? Only to say fast forward today, they are some of the largest buyers of it, right? And so what you really want to do is say, man, where will this asset class be 5 years from now? And I think that if you're a person that is looking to invest in crypto, you have to understand that, yes, this is surely a volatile asset over time. But if you remain a long-term investor, you will be rewarded in the long run, right? Like right now, let's look at Bitcoin, which is the most popular asset. And that was the first cryptocurrency that I purchased. If you look at Bitcoin over the past, 10 years, 7 years or so, it has gone down over 50% in value 7 times. So you have to understand, like, sure, it can be challenging. Sure, it can be very volatile. However, over the course of time, it has actually recovered and went on to make new highs each time. So for me, my experience is, the biggest one where I slap myself on the leg or face for that matter often is I wish I would have bought more. And so for me right now, one of the things that I like to do is, and that is as well with my Macanomics community, is let's sit and let's ask ourselves, which is going to be the token of the future, right? One of the biggest things when you're first investing in cryptocurrency, you really want to understand what this coin does. What is the use case, right? Where, like Bitcoin is known as a digital gold, where Ethereum is more, Ethereum is more something where other engineers will build on top of the Ethereum platform. So it's almost like the App Store for an iPhone, right? And so once you start truly understanding, the various forms of different cryptocurrencies, then that's when you start getting involved and really just saying, where's this coin going to be at 2 years, 3 years from now?
Interesting. And would you say then that is cryptocurrency investing for everyone? I mean, based on all your as you said, your Macanomics community, I like that name, and all the people you've been interacting with. Are there some people who should avoid investing in cryptocurrency altogether, in your view?
Great question. At the end of the day, when you are thinking about investing, you want to look at it from the entire pie, right? You want to look at it from an asset allocation standpoint. So if I'm a person that is 60 years old and this is the year that I'm getting ready to retire, right? I'm no longer working and only thing I want to do is live off my savings, then I do not recommend putting 100% of your savings into crypto. Reason being why? We'll just look at it. In November, in September, October and November, Bitcoin was at 64,000. Today, it's less than almost half of that. It's around 35,000. So as you can see, in a matter of 2 months, it's very volatile. The entire, the asset is cut in half. So what I will say is that from an asset allocation, what you want to do is ask yourself, what's your investment horizon, right? And also, what's your risk tolerance? What I mean by that, is investment horizon is how long do I have before I need this investment? How long do I have before I need this money, right? The younger you are, you have more time to recover, right? Then you ask yourself, what's your risk tolerance? If you're a person, and this is something I preach all the time, if you're a person that got into any investment, right, whether it's a certain stock or a certain cryptocurrency, if you got into it for the right reason, meaning you did all of your homework and you actually look and you see that asset go down by 50%, if at that moment you sell rather than buying more, then this wasn't the asset class for you, right? And so as a person, when it comes to investing in crypto, you have to understand that it's a roller coaster. However, if you're looking at it on a 5-10 year landscape, then it has been paying great dividends, right? Like I say, the best investment over the past 10 years isn't a stock, it isn't gold, it isn't any type of commodity. It has been Bitcoin, right? Went from less than $4 or less than $4 to now over $35,000. And so at the end of the day, you just want to ask yourself, am I young enough that I can stomach, 3 years of being of volatility? And then after that, right, you're good, right? For me, at the end of the day, you look at it and say, okay, what percentage of my portfolio do I want to have in crypto? Because once again, it's the best investment, despite, how volatile from a risk adjusted standpoint. If you have the time to be in it, then you have the ability to allow your money to make money over time. And once again, over the past 7 years, Bitcoin has gone down 50% of the time, down over 50%. And each time it has recovered. And right now we're in that time. So, right, the last thing I'll leave you with is when it comes to being a disciplined investor in America, right, one of the things we do is we have a big sale around Thanksgiving, right? It's Black Friday shopping where you can go.
Friday, we have it here too.
Okay, perfect. So the same thing, right? So when we have Black Friday shopping, if we can find our favorite designer, our favorite type of electronic, and we look and we see it down 40, 50%, we're going to get on the phone. We're going to call our relatives, our cousins. We're going to say, yo, let's go buy this. Yo, we could get these new Jordans for 50% off. We could get these new Sony TVs for 50% off. Well, I look at assets the exact same way, right? I look at stocks. I look at crypto the exact same way. If you come across a good asset, well, what do? If it's down 50%, guess what? You buy it like you would, some new clothes or some new shoes. But instead, when you buy clothes or shoes, those are depreciating assets, right? In fact, they're liabilities. Whereas you look at a cryptocurrency or a stock, those are appreciating assets. So, you want to always take that mindset and say, I want to look at my investing the exact same way. So if it's a deal, if it's a discount, take advantage of it.
All right. Well, it's sounding good. But Keisha, there was a quick question I saw coming up in the chat. What causes the volatility in crypto? What causes it to be so volatile?
A lot of it is news related regarding the adoption. So as Ross was saying, a lot of the movement now in cryptocurrencies is because of its investment related value and the future of that value, because there's a finite amount of each of these cryptocurrencies. So there's no new cryptocurrencies, new Bitcoin or new numbers of Bitcoin out there. So you owning it, you are the owner. And so for someone else to have it, you have to sell it to them. And it maintains the value based on adoption. So when we see banks coming out saying, yes, we're going to be looking at cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, we see Elon Musk tweeting about it, that has a lot of impact on the prices of these cryptocurrencies. It is, however, a long-term investment. And so I personally, I'm with Ross, I use these pullbacks as opportunities to scoop up more and more, because I know in the future the value is going to be higher. And so if it's on sale today, it's for me.
All right. There's a question I had, because we've spoken about crypto before, Keisha, you and I, and clearly it's something that you do yourself, as you've
Yes.
admitted to. You're not telling tales out of school, and it's something you recommend, certainly where it's applicable to your own clients. But I guess my question is, do you see any disadvantages to investing in crypto? If so, what do you advise your clients when you consult them, as far as maybe protecting themselves, hedging against that? I don't know.
It comes back to the allocation. So you're not going to build your portfolio with 100% crypto. Highly volatile, you will be stressed out. It will be very overwhelming because the swings are no joke. So when I think about crypto, and what I advise my clients is, or teach them, is you want to have an amount that you're comfortable with that volatility. So I typically like having 5 to 10% of my portfolio within cryptocurrencies, spread across different ones. And then just use that portion as my super long-term payday, because I'm saving long-term for retirement, investing long-term for retirement. And so having the cryptocurrencies there is that nice sweetener, the brata, on top of an already solid portfolio. But cryptos on their own should not be an entire portfolio. So you shouldn't say, I'm just starting out as an investor, I'm going to just go and buy all the cryptos out there and I'm going to be super wealthy. That's very likely not to happen.
Yeah. So it's good to, present that balance. I like to always say that. I know you mentioned earlier about the BOJ, of course, going in the realm of digital currency, which is different from crypto. Based, I guess, on your interactions with anyone in the local industry, do you see a possibility that crypto will come alive in Jamaica itself, or?
It wouldn't be something near term, because a lot of things need to happen. A coin needs to be created and on that blockchain technology. It would be years in the making. I think the BOJ going in that direction, though, of digitalizing the currency is the way to go.
Yeah.
Longer term, maybe we do have some form of cryptocurrencies here. I think what's more important, though, as I'm thinking, all right, what do people want to get involved in from an investment perspective, is to get in the game. There's no money made on the sidelines. And so as you think about investing, I really believe you should have some form of cryptocurrency in your portfolio. Start with a small amount. Don't go overboard and load up on it and, come out guns blazing saying, yeah, crypto all day, every day. But you need some amount. And so it's critical then to look for ways that you can invest in crypto. Which exchange can you go on? Which accounts can you open? And get that going from now.
All right. Okay. And it's really up to you to get that going, you're saying. So you find websites like
Coinbase, interactive brokers as well. What I like in terms of investors being creative, you have indirect ways of owning cryptocurrencies. You have ETFs based on the value of the cryptocurrency. So maybe
ETFs en inglés, por favor. No comprendo ETF.
Exchange traded funds, where the value of these funds are based on the underlying cryptocurrencies that they're tracking. So BITO, that came out last year, that's a very popular one. So maybe you're not, that risk loving, and so you could start with the ETFs, because those are very close to stocks, but their values are determined based on the underlying value of the cryptocurrency. Nice way to kind of get your feet wet in the cryptocurrency pool without kind of just diving in and saying, I'm swimming.
Nice. Sounds good. And Ross, from where you sit, obviously you believe in crypto for yourself personally, and it's something you recommend for your community up there in the States. Are there any, I guess, disadvantages or anything you think investors need to look out for if they plan to go this route at all? Because, people like to say, well, it's not all a bed of roses, is it? But yeah, just to be clear that we're looking at the pluses and the possible downsides that we need to look out for.
Yeah, no, great question. At the end of the day, this is the case with all assets, right? Whether you're investing in real estate, stocks, or crypto, they're going to be up cycles and down cycles, right? And currently we're in a down cycle in both stocks as crypto. And so the downside is one, it can be volatile. However, I echo what Keisha's saying, right? You have to be willing to allocate a portion of your overall portfolio to crypto that you okay with this form of volatility. Once again, right now, if you see, crypto down 50%, you should not be selling. If anything, you should be buying more if you believe in the crypto long term, right? And so one of the other downsides is obviously from a security standpoint, right? There is no back office you can call, right? If I was to lose my money, if I was to get fraud, on my credit card, I could call my credit card company and say, hey, I did not do this, right? If I was to get hacked or something, I can call them and say, I didn't do this, and we'll go through a few things. After that, they would probably give me my money back. When it comes to crypto, you have to know what you're doing, meaning that, and not to sound like I'm scaring anyone, but you have to know that if you accidentally send, $100, worth of Bitcoin to the wrong address, then you're not going to be able to get that back. There's no back office you can call to say, hey, Bitcoin headquarters, I'm sorry, I sent this to the wrong person. That does not happen, right? And so one of the things, and I'm sure we're probably going to get to it a little later, but one thing to potentially look into, right, is saying, how can I better secure my actual crypto? And one of those would be a ledger. And we'll get to it because I want to say that's a question that comes down the line. But at the end of the day, I would only say the downfalls, right, is obviously the volatility. And two, you could fall victim of someone trying to hack your account. And if that's the case, there's no one you can call.
Topic of hacking, which actually was along the lines of my next question. I mean, what does that look like in the crypto space, and how can I protect myself, I guess would be the next question that an investor would have, Ross.
Yeah, great point. And I kind of teed that up for you, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, right, when it comes to crypto, once again, there's no back office. So what you have to understand, the thing that makes crypto so amazing, that being no middleman, can also make you a little scared, and that being there's no one to call. But what I will say is the way that you actually protect yourself is buying your crypto on a, like Keisha said, a Coinbase. And from there, what you can do is you can transfer it so that you yourself control it, right? At the end of the day, anything that's on the internet technically can be hacked, right? And so what you're actually doing is taking your crypto from Coinbase and actually transferring it to something, and it looks like this, right? It's called a Ledger Nano S. It's going to look like a small USB. And what a Ledger Nano S will do is it allows you to own your Bitcoin, because once again, this is all digital currency. It's nothing physical about it, but what it will do is allow you to not have the ability to get hacked. So I've gotten several emails from a random, hey, your Coinbase account has been compromised. If I was to click that, I would probably get hacked, right? I'm sure we've all seen some form of phishing of an email, right? Or some DM saying, hey, your account has been hacked. At the end of the day, one of the things that you want to do is protect yourself. And I look at it the same way, right? Don't click on anything fishy. And if it says, Coinbase or whichever exchange you're going to use to purchase it. But one of the things to truly actually protect your crypto, right, is I can buy, $100,000 worth of Bitcoin on Coinbase, and then I can put it on this Nano. And the thing is, I will put this in my safe, and that means that I could never get hacked, right? Now, what could occur is that I can lose this. However, I have a 24 word code that would allow me to recover it if at any time. So the thing is, either don't lose this or don't lose your 24 word code. And from there, you'll be straight. But that's just the way that you don't get hacked, by actually taking your money off of the platform. And then the next thing is common sense, right? I think you get hacked. And I say this, I hope no hackers listening, like, all right, we'll show him, I'm gonna try to hack him. But what I mean is, like, don't click on any random emails from Coinbase and when you look, like, it says Coinbase or, Binance or crypto.com or whichever exchange you use. But if you look at the actual from address, it doesn't actually say that company.
All right. Lots of nuggets there, folks. Yeah, because security is very important when you're talking about the digital space. So I'm going to jump back to Keisha with a quick question. And Ross, I'm just cueing you because we spoke in the lead up and we want you to drop a little performance for us. We know you're a hip hop artist. And you said you'd be willing to drop something for us, all right? So I'm going to give you a minute to pull that together while I just jump back to Keisha.
I thought you meant in person.
Oh, man. I guess I wasn't clear in my communication. No, it's all good. I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you uncomfortable. So we can save that for next time. We can do that next time if that's okay. Keisha, so the final question then is, what makes cryptocurrency, I guess, competitive when you compare it, I guess, to other currencies like the Jamaican dollar? I hope I'm clear in how I'm asking the question here. Because when it talks about the fact that can we do a pound for pound comparison between cryptocurrency and its competitiveness with other currencies, for example, the Jamaican dollar, or?
We could do an exchange rate.
Okay.
We could, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
one Bitcoin right now, as Ross was saying, is in that 35 to 40,000 US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
One Jamaican dollar is about 155. So you do the math.
Yeah, we can do the math from there.
Couple millions, well, several millions, over 6 point something million Jamaican dollars for one Bitcoin, but you can buy fractional amounts, importantly. So get in the game. You can buy fractional amounts of all of these cryptocurrencies. So
okay, perfect.
Shouldn't be a deterrent.
Perfect. So is there like a minimum you would say people should expect to have as their initial outlay when they're investing in crypto? Like
I'd say start with what you have. No, I mean, if 10,000 is a part of your portfolio, start with what you have.
Okay.
Build up on that. It's better being invested than not. There's no money made on the sideline, so get in the game. If you do believe in cryptocurrencies as the future of money, as I do, then you should be invested in it. Mm-hmm. Right? No sense watching it on the sidelines going up and saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Gotcha.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. So I think we've high level covered. I mean, as I say, I wrote about a lot of our topics here at Elevate. We could be here all night discussing a lot of the things we're discussing, but our goal is really just to get educational and informational with the basics of what each topic is, and in this case, cryptocurrency. So we're going to jump over to the man who has been waiting very patiently, but actively listening and participating and nodding. I see him there. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. The Bayesian Michael Jordan. And JMMB's Michael Jordan. So Jordan, Michael, this is like question number one, right? So I think when we were looking at rolling out Elevate 4.0, we recognized that a lot of people, I think stock market investing is a hot topic in Jamaica, in the Jamaican investment community generally. However, I think there's also an increased curiosity in looking at the potential of investing in international stocks or internationally based stock markets. New York Stock Exchange probably being the closest one, but not the only one by any means. How can somebody really participate in that? How do I even get started where that is concerned? I think that's probably the first question.
Yeah, that's a great place to start, Kerry. The first thing is really to get a relationship with an investment broker. And that may be a local broker such as JMMB, or it may be an international broker like a Charles Schwab that you might have heard of. And really what you do with your broker is that your broker will execute transactions on your behalf, and they will allow you to either directly have our own international stocks, or they will facilitate you having access or exposure to international stocks through some investment product like a mutual fund or something like that. But really your first step is, contact your investment broker and you'll be able to go from there.
All righty. Thank you so much. So let me just, I guess, take one step back again. So that's, I guess, how to take the first step. The question is, I think a lot of people have is, Should I even be considering investing in international stocks? I mean, who should be considering investing in international stocks? Because I think in Jamaica, I know certainly in Elevate, we've already highlighted the fact that we believe that investing in stocks is something for every investor. It just, of course, would shift based on, again, your investment time horizon, how much risk you want to take on, the kind of stocks, therefore, that you'd want to own shares in, that sort of thing. The question then is, for the international side, though, are there certain people who shouldn't even bother looking that direction, or not?
No,
Just asking.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that you would treat it much in the same way that you would look at investing locally or investing in general. It's better to start than not to. The only added dimension I would say is that you would have to obviously consider the access to foreign exchange or the access to hard currency. But that is something that you can figure out. You can work your way around. I wouldn't say that it is for one group of people, but not the other. Not at all. If I would say go for it, investing across the board.
And I guess ideally, what kind of minimums should I be thinking about having ready to be able to do that? Is it in Jamaica, we say, is it a rich people thing or not? I mean, what kind of US dollar denominated monies you think somebody should have ready?
You can start with anything, much in the same way that you can buy fractions of cryptocurrency. You can actually access fractions of stocks as well. So if it is, let's say, a high price stock like an Amazon or Google for that, let's go with Google. You can actually, if you don't have enough money for one stock, you can get started with a fraction and just build from there. So it's definitely not a rich man thing. It's an everybody thing.
All right. Love that, because we're here for everybody. Now, could you just lay it bare for us? Because obviously it's something that we're saying is for everybody, and we think it's a good thing. Of course, again, subject to having the necessary conversation with your licensed financial advisor. We can't leave that out. What would you say, though, Michael, are the benefits of investing in international stocks? I mean, what do I stand to gain as an investor when I do that?
Yeah, so the number one benefit is obviously diversification. If it is that you don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket, if it is that you are investing in Jamaica or wherever you are, and heaven forbid something happens to the economy, then your entire portfolio will be impacted negatively. Whereas if you have invested outside of your country, unless it is some global something, you realize that you're able to mitigate some of that risk and your portfolio is not hit as hard. So I would say number one benefit is diversification. Number two is really around FX growth and hard currency, particularly in the region. Obviously, we know that access to US dollars is somewhat of a privilege, or hard currencies in general. So if you have an asset that is denominated in a hard currency and paying dividends, or you're seeing returns in a hard currency, then your wealth in that currency is also growing, which is obviously an advantage. And then when we speak about wealth growth, international stocks or stocks in general really appreciate, or they give you wealth in two ways. One, through appreciation, that means the price going up, and the other way through actually paying out cash in the form of dividends. And both of them contribute to increasing your wealth. And the next benefit, and it's one that Ross touched on, is actually you're able to stay ahead of inflation, which is a big deal. International stocks historically have returned higher than the inflation levels that we've seen. And I'll just give you an example. Jamaica's inflation rate for 2020, I think it was around 5.21%. But the deposit rate was a lot lower, closer to 2%. Whereas by comparison, the S&P returned 18.4% in 2020. So, as opposed to just keeping your money on the sideline and in effect losing money because the prices of all of our goods and services are going up, you can stay ahead of inflation and protect your wealth a little bit. And the next benefit that I want to touch on is that you're actually getting an ownership stake in one of these companies or several companies. And not only are you getting an ownership stake with oftentimes voting rights and you actually have a say, but it's also transferable. What we've seen a lot of our clients do is, it comes down from generation to generation, generational wealth, which is sometimes something that's not familiar in our communities, but definitely should be. And having ownership stake in international stocks allows you to do that. And the final thing that I want to touch on is that international stocks are traded on regulated exchanges. So you have I wanted with an asterisk an extra layer of security, because they have to adhere to a lot of regulations and everything in their reporting, and there has to be a certain degree of transparency, which is not necessarily in existence with other non-traditional asset classes. So those are kind of the benefits in a quick shot.
Right. Sounds good to me. But, I always like to balance out the conversation because, it's great. It's for everybody. What are the risks and the downsides that we need to be aware of if we're going to be exploring this as an investment opportunity?
Yeah, so much in the same way with cryptocurrency, volatility is something that has to be considered. There are many factors that influence the price movements in international stocks. As I mentioned, it could be something that is on the economic level. So something happened to the nation's economy, and therefore the stocks that are domiciled there, maybe the president tweeted something off color, and the next day you see a bit of red in the markets. There is volatility. Sometimes it is company specific. Maybe they didn't achieve the level of earnings that they would have promised. But all of these things impact the price movements. Not to say that this is a reason to avoid it. Something like volatility is par for the course, and it should be expected, and it can be managed through portfolio management, which kind of brings me to the second point. The second risk is that portfolio watching is stressful. You can't, with the volume of information to process and everything, it is a lot of work. It is stressful, which is why we always suggest, if it is that you are now starting out, start out with a partner, start out with in a partner in the form of an advisor, or even your broker may offer advisory services, or even help you kind of process a lot of the information that's floating around there. So that is a risk. You get a little bit more stress. And the other risk is that shareholders are actually paid last, and it's actually not guaranteed either. So companies have their dividend policies, and it can change on the company's whim. The company may decide that in this coming year, we want to devote a lot of our excess earnings to research and development, as opposed to just paying our shareholders. And you as a shareholder kind of have to take that in stride. If you really believe in the company, you'll just hold on, and that it's going to come down the road. But if it is that you are more focused on like a dividend play, then you might be looking to sell. But ultimately, it's something that you have to keep in your mind, that the dividend policy is absolutely at the whim of the company. And then another big one to consider, particularly for us in the region, is that we have to be aware of the repatriation risks or the taxation risks. We need to make sure that we have a tax opinion from a tax expert. I am not a tax expert, but they do exist. And particularly because the tax code in the international arena is oftentimes completely different to ours here in the region. So it would be prudent to have someone help you navigate that and be very, very clear on your exposures and what you need to be aware of. And those are kind of the main risks, I would say.
All right. Thank you very much. Very important to note. And there was a question I had. I mean, last night we had a Twitter Spaces conversation coming out of our stock investing in local stocks in Jamaica last night, to be frank. And there was a mention about international stocks, and particularly on the New York Stock Exchange. I've seen articles that speak to a bear market that's either in progress now or to come. Forgive me, I'm totally out of the space, so I'm not sure. Can you give us a sense of what, if any, opportunities you see possibly arising in the North American, the New York Stock Exchange this year, or any other stock exchange that you're familiar with? Just to educate us.
I mean, there are always opportunities. I know that our team at JMMB Investments Trinidad, we actually put out a piece, an article on a stock that we think it would be interesting to at least keep your eye on, and that was Merck and Company, and that's in the pharmaceutical space, and they've been doing a lot of things with there's a cancer treatment drug that they have, and then they also have they've been doing work in the COVID-19 space as well. And that's just an example of something to take a look at. Whether or not it fits into your portfolio is another conversation. But my point is that there are always going to be opportunities. Market watching is something that's time consuming and often futile. You want to have market timing, I should say, and you want to have a partnership with someone that helps you to identify the opportunities. Much like Ross and Keisha were saying, when there's a pullback, that's the time to jump in, even if that's something that you already held in your portfolio is a part of that pullback. If you believe in it strongly, it's time to buy more. And you kind of get that insight by partnering again with your broker and having those conversations.
Okay, thank you for that. Very important point. Could you just wrap up for us this segment, Michael, the three ways in which we can invest in international stocks? Because I'm thinking certainly one is to buy the stocks outright. But then, we hear talk about mutual funds or indices or indexes, some people say.
Carrie, you asked the question and answered it as well.
I'm
So
learning.
you can actually buy the individual names in the companies, the Googles, the Apples, the whatever. And Keisha actually mentioned it before. You can actually get exposure through ETFs, exchange traded funds, which is basically a type of security that tracks an index, a sector, commodity. It tracks a range of things potentially, and you can get exposure through that. And one that I always draw attention to is the SPX, which tracks the S&P 500. And if you, as an investor, were to try to replicate the S&P 500 on your own by going after individual stocks, you'd have to spend a significant amount of money to try to buy 500 stocks. But you can get the same exposure through one share of the SPX, which is an ETF. And then the final one that I want to touch on is mutual funds. And I believe you've heard the term in the market already. And it's just another way of gaining exposure. Once the focus of the mutual fund is international stocks, then you would be able to get exposure. Key thing there is when you approach your broker about the mutual funds and the unit trust is to, do some digging, find out exactly what's the underlying for the mutual fund, and then you get a sense of what exposure you're picking up.
All right. Thank you for that. Yeah, so there are many ways to skin the cat. If you don't want the direct exposure, as it were, to any particular stock or share in any particular company, you can get in through the index or through mutual funds. That's another way to do it. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael.
No problem.
I am going to lay hands a little suddenly on Russ and Keisha as we move into this final segment. But before we do so, Michael, there is a hot question because I think people want to know if and how they can invest in international stocks through JMMB. Is that possible at this time for those of us based in Jamaica?
Yes. At this time, you can reach out to your JMMB Jamaica representative. Right now, that operation is actually based in Trinidad, but because we are a group and everyone knows how JMMB functions, as long as it is somewhere in the group, it is accessible to you. So you just, make contact with your JMMB representative. They'll put you onto my team and we'll get you going. Obviously, as time progresses, we will make that a lot more user friendly and everything. But you have access. Just touch base with your JMMB rep, and we'll get you going.
Right. So just to reiterate, so we have this service in Trinidad, but if you're in Jamaica, you'd let us know. There is a way for us to give you access to that service. It will take a little while, just managing people's expectations because there are documents and forms to be shared across to get you set up. But the service is there, and you will be enabled to do what you need to do.
Yeah, Carrie, if I might just give a little bit more information about the service, where you're actually able to have a segregated account in your own name, where you're able to not only trade on your own, you can also have us assist you with the training. We support you fully in the JMMB way. And you're able to hold multiple currencies and everything within that portfolio. So there's a lot more information, but you can touch base with your JMMB rep. We can get the ball rolling with the information and everything, and we hold your hand with along every step of the process as well.
Okay. And of course, we can't highlight enough, rather, how important it is for investors to educate themselves and to avail themselves of all the information that we have available on the various stocks, the companies, etc. It's really good stuff. I mean, Ross, you're obviously based in the United States. From your perspective, are there any industries, so for those of us looking to maybe buy stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, are you in a position to share what industries should we be looking out for as presenting with attractive, perhaps, growth opportunities? Obviously, COVID is not going away, but there are some industries that are thriving right now. There are some that I think have turned a corner. I mean, in your view, where should investors be looking for opportunities there?
Without a doubt. So first, I just want to take a quick step back and just help people understand. One of the things we've been talking about a lot was, what are the risks associated with investing in stocks and what are the risks associated with crypto? I just wanted to say, there's a bigger risk by not investing, right? Michael talked about it. Inflation is real. So literally, your purchasing power of your money is going to go down every year. So it's a greater risk by not investing than actually investing. And sorry for going off tangent, but I just want to help our Black people understand, we need to start investing to allow our money to make money and compound so our kids will be straight down the line, right? And so sorry. So now let me talk about some actual sectors to look into, right? One, I love fintech, right? That's financial technology. As we continue to think about where the world is going to go, things are going to be more digital than in person, right? So fintech companies are something that are obviously continuing to get a lot more notoriety, right? As people start being able to bank online relative to in person, et cetera, get loans online rather than in person, et cetera. I like semiconductors, right? When you think about what is a semiconductor, it's in everything we have, electronics, electric vehicles, right? So semiconductors are one of the primary components that make a lot of these things go. You also have, well, we just talked about electric vehicles, right? But not only are we looking at, electric vehicles, by 2030, the vast majority of the cars will be electric vehicles kind of globally, I would say, looking at, China and America. But another thing you want to think about is what do you need within the electric vehicle space? And that is, what makes a car go? That is batteries, right? And what makes a battery go? Lithium. So you want to look at, lithium miners, things of that sort. And you also want to look at charging stations. So I talked about EV, we talked about fintech. We talked about semiconductors. I mean, those are the largest areas of growth that I would say. And then also, lastly, sorry if I'm going too long, but also I love cybersecurity, right? We talked a few things about, how to secure your crypto, et cetera. But one of the biggest things outside of, kind of COVID, right? The next thing that will really scare the world is, cyber hacking in general. So one of the big things that all of these companies need is being able to keep all of their clients' data safe. So cybersecurity. So those four, I would say, are some of the hugest growth stories to look at when you're investing. However, one other thing that I wanted to talk about Is that okay?
Yeah, man, go ahead, real quick.
Yeah. So one thing that Michael was talking about was owning the S&P 500, right? And so when you're going into investing, one of the greatest things to understand is that over the long course of time, you're going to make money if you're disciplined. And the easiest way to do that is by owning the S&P 500, right? That is literally 500 of America's best companies, whether it's Amazon, Google, Net, I mean, like the list is going to go on, right? Microsoft, like anything you can think of, Tesla, et cetera, right? These are 500 of America's greatest companies. And more importantly, they are covering all of the different sectors. So it's going to have some fintech, it's going to have some retail companies, gas companies, right? Oil, et cetera. It's going to have all of that. So if you're a person who doesn't want to sit and Google all day and do a lot of research, well, at the end of the day, put your money in the S&P 500 and you'll sit back and you'll make on average 10% a year. So literally, one of the things we were talking about, Michael and I, inflation, right, is 5 or 6% there. Right now, it's 7% in America, right? So literally $100 last year could only buy me $93 worth of goods, right? And so literally understanding by not investing, you're losing money, right? So rather than saying, oh, I bought this crypto or this stock and I lost, damn, no, by literally just leaving your money in a bank account, you already lost money. So what I will say is one of the, and from a long investment horizon, right, over a 30-year period, you will make on average 10% a year if you just put your money in the S&P 500 and just sit back and chill. Sorry for being long-winded.
Love it. No, man, we love the nuggets. We love the nuggets, and our audience is loving it. Final word from the lady. Keisha, any industries we should be looking at? I know you're familiar with Canada as well, but I mean, hey, we'll take anyone. Just let us know.
I think this year also with inflation, commodities are big. That's going to be a huge player based on the same store of value. So looking at precious metals, commodities will be good. Energy from Canada also will be a top performer because we see where oil prices are. We see what's happening. So energy producers are likely to benefit from that as well.
All right. Well, guys, as I said, we could be here all night, but I think this session was fantastic. I think we crammed it all in and gave some awesome nuggets, great content, great information. I can only say thank you very, very much to our three wonderful panelists, Keisha Bailey, who is investment strategist, CEO of Profit Jumpstarter. Look her up, right? She's on IG. Michael Jordan, member of the JMMB team, based out of JMMB Investments Trinidad and Tobago in the brokerage team there. And then, of course, Ross Mack, who is a jack of all trades, hip hop artist, trader. Ross, where can we find you? You're on TikTok.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on everything.
Real quick.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Follow me on all socials. That's at I'm Ross Mack, IMROSSMAC, or you can just shoot me a text message, 773-232-2577. That's 773-232-2577. Have a lot of discounts I can offer you guys with whether it's Black Wealth Matters merch or entry into my Macanomics investment club. Thank you guys so much.
All right. And this session is recorded, guys. So whatever you missed, you can catch it on the replay when it's available in the coming weeks. Just follow us on social media. Thank you so much again, everybody. And thanks for joining us to our audience. We're going to recalibrate here in the studio and see you back here in a few for the next session. Thank you.